Hello and welcome everyone to the Hangout Formula. I am Andy Bryan from Become Authentic on Video, and I provide video coaching, Google Plus and Hangout training for those of you who want to find your voice online and deliver an effective message to your audience using video. Today is our bonus show. I was due not to have a show this week, but I really wanted to talk about sustainable change and have some amazing guests on the show tonight. So we have some amazing guests who I'll introduce in a moment, and today we're going to be talking about sustainable change and how you can live a much more sustainable life. But we're also going to be talking about AWorld4Change and Wayne Meador's movement. Now at the moment he's not here to actually tune in on the live show, but he may be able to pop in later to share his story with you all as well. But what I wanted to do was welcome all of my guests here today. So we have Tracy Baker, Kirstin Hancock, Lainey Sullivan, and we also have Wayne Nix. So welcome all of you. Thanks for joining me today.
Well, thank you for having me on the show. Go ahead, Chris.
Excellent.
Thanks for letting me join you.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you all on. I've been working with Sustainable Change and Wayne Meador's movement for a while now, and it's been great to work with you all as well. So this show is going to be slightly different than the other shows, whereby we're going to talk more about sustainable change, but we're also going to be talking about Wayne's upcoming shows and what we can look forward to and how they're going to operate. But a good starting point would be to all of you, because what I want to do throughout the show is get all of you in the audience to answer these questions yourself within the comment stream. Start thinking about sustainable change and what it means to you, and all of the other questions that we'll be answering tonight as we ask all of the guests here today. So the first question is, what does sustainable change mean for all of you guys? Who wants to start?
Go ahead, Wayne.
Well, sustainable change to me, I believe everything in moderation, but you have to do that so you can have things for future use. And sustainability can mean anything from environment or ecology to economics and politics and culture. And that's actually how I got started in what I'm doing, is I'm trying to promote the culture of Louisiana. And what better way to do that is through cooking. But the sustainability movement and what Wayne Meador is trying to do, I had tragedies in my life, and how I got started was I started doing a little bit of gardening. And the taste from the gardening is what kind of propelled me forward. So, I started with a 5-gallon bucket, and then I went to actually having a bed, and it just kind of evolved since then. And there's other things that I can get into as well. What about you, Tracy?
For me, sustainable change means making changes in your life that are long-term in every aspect of your life. Is it sustainable change in your mind, where you do some personal development? Is it sustainable change in your eating habits, where you start to garden, you take GMOs and high fructose corn syrup, and you start changing the way you eat, so you change the way you feel, so you're ready to make the next change. And sustainable change for me incorporates lifestyle. It's not doing something for a few minutes, it's doing something for the rest of your life, in all aspects of your life. And I live off the grid, making a sustainable change to choose to not use power, to provide for myself and my family, which is me and my husband. It's all of those changes. I never want to go back on the grid. I never want to eat bad food. Yeah, I'm a hot dog fanatic, but I only do that once or twice a month. And so these sustainable changes are making something lifestyle and not just a quick fix. So that's what sustainable change means for me. How about you, Lainey? Oh, Lainey just muted.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Hi, guys. Thanks, Andy, for having me on. When I first thought about sustainable change, 5, 6 years ago, it was a bigger thing and it was a little overwhelming. And as I, learned a lot about GMOs and organic food and lifestyle, and people go on diets, and it's not about dieting. It's about, like Stacey said, it's creating something that you can you can maintain, and even if it's just small little changes day to day that you can enhance upon and continue to grow. And if it just means that you get rid of soda, I mean, I got rid of soda 10 years ago. I still have one here and there, but I used to drink Pepsi every single day. Like, let's talk about how much acid I was putting in my body. So, you know, you just can build little, like I said, little by little, make little changes. Get rid of the sugar, get rid of the soda, you know, get rid of the wheat, and, you know, add in more vegetables. You know, eat one more vegetable every day or every week or every month. And it doesn't have to be this global thing when you're just trying to fix yourself first.
Excellent. And Kirstin?
Sustainable change for me is doing little steps in your everyday life that will enhance your life for the future. So it's not about big crazy things that you can do. It's just about thinking about small steps in your family life, in the food that you eat, where that comes from, whether it's from your own garden or whether a farmer's market, or just having sustainable relationships, how you can, you know, be in contact with your family and friends and have loving relationships with them over time. And also, I've been thinking a lot about sustainable change in my business and how, you know, we can be really good examples to other businesses out there by using our resources that we have wisely and not wasting things in business. And in our family life, I've been just really going back to basics, thinking about what we really need and where those things come from. Are there things that we've got that we can reuse, or are there things that we can give to others so that others can use? So yeah, that's a little bit about what I'm thinking about in sustainable change. I'm very passionate about our environment. I'm very passionate about recycling, and I'm also very passionate about the relationships that I have. Yeah. So thanks for asking.
No problem. Thanks for your sharing, because it's interesting to see everybody has a slightly different viewpoint on sustainability and what it means to them. I mean, for me, it's like what Kirstin said as well, going back to basics and thinking about things that you don't need to have in your life that you can maybe do without, so that you can live a much more simple life. You know, so that's what sustainability means to me on some levels. But it's also thinking about how you can help the environment, whether it's our oceans or whether it's on the land, wherever it might be. But now I wanted to move on to why have you all got involved in Wayne Meador's AWorld4Change movement? Because I'll first of all share why I got involved, because I wanted to find a way to give back, really help people think about how they can live a positive, natural and healthy life in many different ways, and sustainability really does play a big part in that. So again, I'll put that forward to all of you in the audience as well as those of you on the panel today. So who wants to go for that one? Wayne, do you want to answer that one first?
Okay, but I think we might want to call me Mr. Nix so we don't get confused with Wayne Meador, right?
Yes, sir.
Wayne Meador. But the reason why I got involved with Wayne Meador and his sustainability efforts is it's not really one reason, it's several reasons. And that's the whole point behind sustainability. You know, you have those crazy shows that come on and for you know, the end of the world type things, and that's not what he's really trying to push. He's basically saying you can do little things that will save you time and will save you money and will, you know, save all this pollution and things that we do on a daily basis. And it's like Tracy and Kirstin said, it's not about just jumping in and doing a radical type of lifestyle change. It's just doing small things, a piece at a time, that you didn't know you can do. Because when I started gardening, I didn't know I can do it. So not only did it help the environment, it helped me spiritually, right? Especially at that time when I needed it. And that's what I like. So it's almost about is making me feel good as a person as it is about the act that I'm doing. And I think Wayne has a great concept. It's natural, no pun intended, but it is natural to be sustainable, right? So, we could have the whole show on just why to get involved. So I'd like to know why the people in the audience are even watching right now. Why are they wanting to be involved? It'd be great to hear from them. What drives them? What makes them want to do sustainable change? And when was that moment? Like I said, I had tragedy in my life. I just kind of evolved from it. Always knew it was the right thing to do, but what sparked me to do it? It was a personal event, a personal choice, and I really love it.
Fantastic. Excellent. Tracy, do you want to share as well?
Why I joined Wayne Meador's bandwagon. He is a fantastic leader, first of all. He came across my radar, I think with you, Mr. Nix, when you guys were both on a show, and everything that came out of his mouth was, I got to meet this guy. I got to know what he's doing. I got to know more about what he's doing, because it just so resonated with who I am and what I'm doing. And when sometimes you feel like the lone voice out there, not necessarily jumping up and down, screaming and shouting, but you do feel like the lone voice. And when you hear somebody who has the same message that you do, and you just want to join the song. Of course, as a tone-deaf person, I'm going to join in another way. But I joined because, just like what Mr. Nix was saying, is he's not trying to make everybody go green, go off the grid, have their greenhouse, don't ever buy another thing from the grocery store. He's really a proponent of the small little choices. I think that's one of the reasons why the sustainability movement is interesting but stagnant, is because everybody thinks the problem is too big, so they get overwhelmed and they don't do anything. And with Wayne's voice and with all of our voices, showing people that tiny little changes, start in a bucket if you want to garden. Phil, when he was on our show, he said, if you can't get a garden, just start with an herb thing in your kitchen window. These small little changes are going to add up, and as the voices grow and the voices get bigger and the voices get more and more, the movement is just going to blossom. And Wayne just personifies that and just makes you want to join his cause, because we all think it's a fantastic cause. We just need to band together so it will grow faster. So that's why I joined Wayne's movement.
Excellent.
And yeah.
Fantastic. Lainey, did you want to share?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually met Wayne through Mark Seidel, and Mark and I had different conversations about government conspiracies and all that kind of stuff. We can all go to those extremes, right? But as Wayne and I sat and talked, and I love talking about the reality of government conspiracy, but we'll save that conversation for another day.
Excellent. Is there anything else you wanted to add there?
Yeah, sorry, I don't know how I got muted. But yeah, I want, when you talk about why, I love the education of it. I love being able to teach somebody, look at the Clorox bottle that you're using and look at the chemicals, and just take one chemical and go, we have the internet. We have the availability to look up and research everything that we put in our bodies, we put on our bodies, that we use in our home, that we use in our gardens. And if it's not from nature, and if it's not organic in that sense, where is it coming from, and what harmful effects is it doing to us? And I'm really a huge proponent about the education aspect, because I think that if you don't know what you don't know. So let's find out what you don't know, and then let's learn how you can change those things now that you know.
Excellent. I love it. I look at products that I use on a day-to-day basis, and I think, all of these toxins in our products, can we just not be completely natural? Not from a selfish, we can think about it from a selfish standpoint in a way in regards to our health, but it goes far beyond that, doesn't it, as well, in regards to sustainability as well. So
Absolutely.
Can I pop in from the comments stream real quick? J&J Arches said, I became involved when I realized how much it was going to cost to feed my large family and decided that it would be better to grow my own. Now, how many times do we hear people say, I can't buy organic, I can't be healthier. Oh, thank you for the eyeball. I can't do these things because it's too expensive. And here we have a perfect example of growing your own garden, growing your own vegetables, growing your own food can really be cost effective. Anyway, I love that one sitting there.
There's a few other really good comments. Can I jump into that? Is that
Go for
okay,
it. If you want to
Andrew?
share why you got involved as well.
Okay. Let me share why I got involved first, and then I'll go to the comment stream. My background is that I have 4 sisters and 2 brothers, and I grew up in New Zealand. We grew up in the country with chickens and guinea pigs and dogs and cats in a big section, and we had a large vegetable patch that my parents grew most of the food that we ate. And I've been living in London now for about 14 years, and I've always sourced my food from farmers markets and bought organic and tried to, give my family really good quality tasting food. But I've really noticed over the last few years about how the taste of the food that I've been eating is not as tasty as what it is back in New Zealand. And I've been thinking about this over the last few months, because obviously it's time to put a garden in, and for the last 3 years I've just had tomatoes and cucumbers basically just outside in buckets. And a couple of months ago I saw Wayne Meador on Mia Voss's show, and he really inspired me to actually do something. Now I've got a large section, and quite a lot of the back of the section was covered in brambles, and I thought, well, no, just get a spade out, clear all those brambles, get some compost in that earth, see what we've got underneath, and start growing my own food. And so that's exactly what I did. I have cleared a space for a garden. I've got potatoes and tomatoes and beans and lettuce, and my cucumbers, unfortunately, and my zucchinis are not doing so well, so I need to plant some more seeds. And I've got beetroot and spinach, and even today for lunch I used the lettuce out of our garden, which I was so pleased about. And just like what Mr. Nick said, I feel really fulfilled by actually doing something positive and being outside. And my 3 girls have helped me a lot, and it's been such a wonderful time being outside, teaching them about worms in the garden, about getting them to dig, and just having, really lovely family time with them. And also it teaches them about, how we grow food and where our food comes from. And I think Wayne Meador just really inspired me so much to put into action how I grew up and where I wanted to go. Now let's have a look at some of the comments. I just I love what Jess Maynard was saying. She was saying Wayne Meador gives off an amazing vibe and love gardening and my eco-friendly, sustainable clothing. So it just lines up with what I already believe in. I think a lot of people are very supportive of what Wayne's doing. And also, I just love this comment by JT Beer saying, if you want to make a difference today, I'll make it easy for you. Smile at a stranger. It can be that easy.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I love the passion that all of you are sharing here today, because it does resonate obviously with myself, but so many people, and I'm hoping from this movement, and I'm not hoping, I'm sure it's going to happen, more and more people are going to think about sustainable change and how they can apply it to their lives, even on a small scale, and then maybe over time taking it to a larger scale. So it's absolutely fantastic. It's brilliant. But I wanted to ask, we've talked about the environment and sustainability in the environment, but what other areas of sustainability is Wayne likely to cover, or AWorld4Change is going to cover over the next coming month? Because there's a lot of shows that over June that Wayne is going to be producing, but even more in the future as well. So what type of areas are we going to be covering?
On Wayne's shows?
Yeah.
I made myself a list because you thankfully told me about this yesterday. He's going down to Alabama. Mr. Nix, do you know the name of the community he's going to? Oh, you're muted, honey. If you're not muted, we can't hear you. Okay, while he figures that out, he's going to a sustainable community, and he is going to be in this community for until the end of June, and throughout that, he's producing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 live shows so far on the agenda. Everything from how to forge your own knife to how to build a fire anywhere. I mean, I camp all the time. There's times when the matches got wet because I spilled the coffee, or my husband spilled the wine. It usually happens that way. So we're going to learn that. And then he's going to get out into the garden, preparing your greenhouse, repotting your plants, grafting your plants so that you can build different varieties. And then into the building part, this really gets to the sustainable side. Cob house mixing, how to build a tire foundation. If you don't know Wayne very well, he is fascinated with the Earthship community that I live across the street from, started by Mike Reynolds. Anyway, so he's going to do some of that. Then back into the garden for wicking, how to do wick gardens so that you can not have to worry about watering them so often. And then and just keep moving on. He did say there's going to be some sort of impromptu shows. If he finds somebody he wants to interview, he might pop a show out. So go plug in, go subscribe to AWorld4Change.com, right, Andy?
Yeah, you can subscribe to AWorld4Change.com, and you'll be sent information about upcoming shows and information like that.
And he's got a fantastic calendar in there. Start looking for blogs. I'm sure he's not going to be blogging while he's there. It's going to be a matter of just getting the shows produced live and on location. He's got a team behind him out here doing the technical side, plus all of us doing the sharing and the supporting from both the AWorld4Change community and the Sustainable Change Leaders community that I'm sure Andy's going to get into in a bit. But the shows are going to be diverse and fantastic and on location and wonderful.
Excellent. I think you've asked my next question. Answer the next question as well, but that's perfect. I was going to talk about, the technicalities of the show, how they're going to work. If you have an idea of what the shows are going to be like, I know they're going to be on location. They're going to be quite interactive classes where people can get stuck in at the same time, though, aren't they?
I think so. Mr. Nix, do you have your mic working? Yeah, no. Am I the only one that can't hear him, or can everybody not hear him?
No, he's not on mute as well, which is very strange.
Okay. He just put in the chat box, he's just going to hang out until he can get it fixed. So he's checking his computers. Yeah, he's doing the little dance. We read it. So he's so funny. So I am, needless to say, not on the technical committee. Anybody who knows me well enough is rolling on the floor laughing about that. And I wish Nazim could have popped in so he could tell us. I know they've got quite a few camera angles. I know they have, when they do the cob housing, when they do the fire building, it is going to be actual, not just a, what did you call it in the green room, Andy, a talking head conversation. They're going to actually be doing this work. So he's going to be getting his hands dirty and just showing us really how to do all of this stuff. It's going to be fantastic.
I'd like to say, I think, for the audience and for those that are rewatching Wayne's upcoming shows, is to not be intimidated or overwhelmed by those that have a depth of experience in this, but just to take it and learn from it, and find those elements that you can do yourself. Maybe making your own knife is not fitting into your wheelhouse of sustainability right now. So learn from the different things that they are going to be talking about, and then find those little elements where you can start making changes if you haven't made any yet.
Definitely.
Good point, Laney.
Definitely, I think everybody has a different aspect of. I've lost my camera there as well. So everybody has a different aspect of what sustainability means to them and resonates with them, whether it be environment, whether it be mindset side of things, or many different areas. So I think that's important to think about. So think about what resonates with you in regards to the shows. Is there anything else you wanted to add yourself, Kirstin?
I was just going to say, just by starting with a little action, and then a little action on top of that, and then things will start to get going for you. I didn't think that I'd want to have a worm farm, and I didn't think that I'd want to, have 6 tomato plants. So just by doing a little step, and watch the videos and the Hangouts, and just take away something from it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I see Wayne has just joined again. Wayne Nick's just joined again, and hopefully we can hear him now.
Testing, can you hear me?
We can hear you perfectly.
Great. Can you understand my dialect? Okay, so sorry I had to drop out, literally. Did I miss the question?
So the question put forward to you today is, what are the technicalities of the Hangouts in terms of how they're going to be put together? Because I know you've been working with Wayne Meador on the technical side of things. So what can we look forward to in that side of things?
Well, it's going to be a very big challenge because where he is going does not really have a ton of internet access. It's because he's out in the rural community. So it will be a test to see what we can come up with. But as far as the production side of things, we don't want it to be just sitting in front of somebody saying, "Hey, how are you doing? Tell us," that type of thing. So we're actually looking at trying to even create some B footage and that sort of thing too, just to have on standby. We want to have different angles. We want to get people involved. How are we going to do that? It's going to be a challenge, like I said. We're limited with funds and equipment, so we're going to do some tests on Friday, and maybe we can do some leakage of some footage or something like that. What do you think about that, Andy?
Excellent. No, I love the side of things that it's not just us talking heads. I know they're very powerful, and I love the aspect of Hangouts, but also the fact that it's going to be on site, and he's going to be walking around with a mic. It's going to be a lot of fun for the people watching as well. So interactive, engaging, and you can all get stuck in at the same time. Even if you wanted to, get your phone out, watch your Hangout on your phone, and get stuck in at the same time. That's just an idea, but a plan of action that you could put together. Okay, Wayne Meador spoke about the leadership aspect of the sustainable change movement, because what we want to do is help produce more leaders, or have more people talking about sustainable change and how they can apply it, like in many different areas, many different niches. So we're just looking for leaders to get involved and to just share the message on sustainability, so that in turn can then pass on to different communities, more people, and as the word spreads, more people will hear and more people will take the actions to live a much more sustainable life. But I wanted to ask you all if you know more about the leadership side of the community and how people can get involved in the movement of sustainable change.
I'll go first, and Wayne and I talked a lot about it because this whole Kirstin was in the actual green room, or post green room, or after party, I like to call it, and it just started. We were so excited. We were so just flying high after he came on the show and got to spread out for the world what he's doing. You know, we kept saying in June, but it's June, so what he's doing this week. And then we put it out in the comment tracker. Let's get this movement going. Let's keep this conversation going. And everybody popped in with different hashtag suggestions and more conversation, which is how Sustainable Change hashtag came about. And the leadership side of it is easy. You know, it's just like what Lainey was saying. Don't look at the huge big picture. I've got to go lead a movement, but look at the little things we can do. It's like the comment that Kirstin brought in from JT. You know, how do you make a sustainable change? Good gad, smile at somebody, and you cause that ripple, and they're going to go smile at somebody else, and they're going to go smile at somebody else, and pretty soon the world is smiling at each other. Wow, wouldn't that be a great place? So as far as leadership aspect of it, the community got built. We invited in everybody who said they wanted to be in the leadership part of it. And what we're doing in there is giving people suggestions. Just like you have a show, it's about something, you know, almost completely a different topic. I mean, it's Hangouts, but it's still a complete different topic. You know, Lainey, and she'll tell you about it, but she's taking her show that was going to be health and wellness for the month, or the theme for the month of July, and changing it to a theme of sustainability and putting that slant on something that she's already doing. I am now more focused on mentioning in my shows how the changes I'm talking about can be put into a sustainable practice. And we had Nicole in the comment stream. Kirstin and I hung out with her, and she got to talking about a project that she hasn't done in a long time. And the sustainable change for her is putting it in her schedule to work on this project. She's actually writing a screenplay, woohoo! Working on that every day. Change that is sustainable, and talk about it. That's all it takes to be a leader in this movement. And ping us, circle us, tell us I want to get in, and we'll invite you into the leadership community so we can all inspire each other to keep the conversation going.
Definitely, and I'd like to invite all of you to share also what the leadership side of it is all about. So who else wants to go next? Maybe Kirstin, do you want to go next?
Okay. I think it's just about encouraging others to make a real difference in other people's lives by the suggestions that people in the community make to make sustainable change in different areas. So, for example, in areas of the environment, if you know a really good recycling program within your local area or within your state, you could share it with the community, or share it with your stream and share it with the community, so that, you know, others are inspired to see what's happening. You know, it'd be really great if people could you know, put posts out into their own stream about how they're living a sustainable life, and then share it into the community so that others can have good examples around them of things that they could do. Yeah, that's one thing that we'd really like people to do, is to, you know, share just different actions that they're doing within their own lives. And you know, and not just within, you know, how looking after the environment, but if you're involved with a community garden project, or they call it something different in the States. You have to help me out on that name, but I know that there's groups that pull together their resources, and it's the same in the UK. And I know that, you know, quite a few people out there could encourage others to do that. You know, if you're more interested in sustainable relationships and how you can better look after your family and friends, to share some of the things that you do, and to encourage others to do that too.
Did you want to add something yourself, Lainey?
You know, I think Tracy and Kirstin really covered it all really well. I mean, my big thing is the education aspect. So, can you find some information that you can share with others to make changes, in addition to what the lady said. So, good job, girl.
Excellent. And Wayne, did you want to add anything yourself?
Well, I mean, I think they did cover a lot of it, but the whole premise is you get somewhere by building on the shoulders of others, right? No matter how many great ideas we have, you only have so much time. So you have to build a team and a network, and it's just a great place to be able to pool and resource a lot of the things that we're trying to do, right? There's no money being made there by anybody. The whole point is we all have the same passions, we all have the same problems. Let's make each other's life easier and make a world for change happen.
Yeah. Definitely well said. That's fantastic. And I don't...
Comment real quick. Nicole popped in and said, thanks for the shout out, Trace. Typing on my screenplay right now. You guys are playing in the background. How fantastic is that? That she's doing her sustainable change as we're talking about sustainable change. The ripple effect is just cruising out there. Anyway, that was cool.
No, that is fantastic. It's fantastic. And I was just going to say, it just being involved with the community and chatting to people about sustainable change really uplifts me. Just being in the movement, it makes me feel positive, upbeat, outgoing, and yeah, I do want to be involved in the sustainable change side of things as well. But I love the side effects of just being really positive about everything that's happening within this community.
Wayne Connect brings up a really good comment. I'll just put it up to remind you about, do you know someone in the community, someone out there who could be a thought leader for sustainable change? Invite them to come and join the community.
Definitely. So in terms of actually the community itself on Google+, what is the actual community itself on Google+ all about? And I will put that out there to all of you to just talk to me about the actual community itself on Google+.
Do you mean our community or communities in Google+?
Yeah, our community on Google+, so the hashtag sustainable change community.
You want me to go? Go ahead, Kirstin, or Lainey, or somebody.
No, I think the community is a really great place to share successes and collaborate. Wayne and I were talking because I had posted a bunch of documentaries in there, and so we were chatting about it, and he goes, well, what's sustainable about that? Because we're, it was, healthy. I got in trouble essentially, and I was like, oh no, I got in trouble, but. We started kind of breaking down, what the value of the community was, what he was looking for to come into the community, and not just people sharing stuff, but people creating and sharing things that they could actually take action on. And I go, Wayne and I had this conversation. I go, Wayne, what I just posted, I said I was able to be inspired by what I was watching and learning and what I shared, and then the depth of the conversation on the post. I think there was 30-some comments on this post about people were talking about the food system and the big pharma and all that kind of stuff. And I said, out of that post and out of that effort, we've changed for those 4 goals. The month of July is going to be all about sustainable change. So we can learn things. We can post something into the community and go, maybe I don't know what to do with it. I don't know I really like this. There's a direction here that we can jump on and then take action. And you may not know the action right away, but with a collaborative ability in the community, you can have a conversation and find action to take, whether it's by yourself or within, with each other.
Yeah, definitely. I think you've put it really well there. Yeah, the community is all about helping people think about how they can take different actions and either within Google Plus or within their local network, or many different ways. Yeah.
Just to really support each other and to engage with each other, to encourage each other to be involved with sustainable change, to move the movement forward, to gain momentum so that we can have a better world.
Now, I know we have a lot of us here on Google Plus that are being involved, but we're not just limited to Google Plus, right? We have Twitter and those sorts of things as well that we're trying to get out, correct?
Yeah, definitely. It's on all social platforms. You'll be able to get involved with the sustainable change movement and really make a difference.
Right, because I think the main point that everybody wants to get across, it's not a one-time gig. It's not a one-time thing. It's a daily thing that we do, and it just so happens to be that we're going to an event to show you some more interesting and lively type events. So if there's anybody in the comment stream or anybody in the audience or somebody watching this later on that has any ideas, I know Wayne is very open to suggestions, right? He's looking for anybody out there that's trying to do the right thing. And, you know, I'm a guy that likes to have fun. So I'm trying to think of some alternate endings to maybe some of his shows. Backups. Let me just give you, for instance, you know, he wants to do some aquaponics type things, so I might get a 5-gallon bucket and blow my straw into it and just show that that's not a sustainable thing. So, you know, me blowing, that's not going to work. So, you know, just to kind of come up with some quirky type things. But the whole point is, again, how do you make things that are actually sustainable, going to save you time, save money, and make you a better person, right? So I keep thinking back to my childhood when, how did I even get involved in gardening? Well, yeah, it was a personal tragedy, but before that, I remember walking in the garden with my grandparents, right, and having these big, huge sunflowers. So, and if you never had that, that's an experience that I want to share with people. So, and that's what Wayne is about too. It's about sharing the experience. So I'll leave it to you guys.
Yeah. And
I just wanted to, sorry.
I was going to say, for me, with specific regards to the community, is it's a place for us to get ideas. It's a place for us to realize how every day, every conversation can be, and for a lot of us that are joining this, we already have made sustainable changes in our life. Be it the way we eat, the way we exercise, the way we have relationships, the way we think, the way we garden, the way we live. But how do we talk about that to the world? And how do we motivate, you know, Lainey's scenario with the host and the conversation that ensued, you know, changed her path a little bit to continue the conversation. And so I think the community sustainable change leaders is a place for everybody to go and see how to take this conversation into their everyday life and into the world, because it just doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be so massively big picture. It can just be a conversation. And look at what JT Baird did today. It's smiling at somebody and making that post and putting the hashtag, which is important, putting the hashtag sustainable change in it. That had nothing to do with anything except for making a sustainable change happy thing in your life. And that was a fantastic inspiration that can show everybody in the leadership community how easy it is to take this conversation to their everyday life. So I think that's the point of the leadership community, is inspiring each other to put this in their life.
Yeah. Excellent. And now it moves on to a great question. Now I haven't told anybody on the panel this question or asked this question to anybody on the panel yet. So they're going to be quite shocked by this question. Not shocked, but not quite ready for it. But talking about inspiration, I'm always inspired by listening to stories that inspire people to take action, or stories where you've heard something about something that's happened to someone in their life, and you really get moved by it. So my question to all of you, and all of you in the audience as well as the people on the panel, is have you a story about maybe an unusual, but it doesn't have to be unusual, time when you've done something in your life and let's phrase this in the right way, but lived a sustainable life, but maybe you weren't sure about it at the time, or it was an unusual story about how you applied sustainable change to your life.
Okay, Mr. Nix, you're the funny guy. Think of something fun.
I guess I'm trying to understand more of the question. So what is this again?
So a story about sustainable change and how you've applied it to your life. Could be an unusual story which
I mean, I've got a nice story that I could share. And it comes from, while you all think, it comes from when I was a child. I was brought up in a large family, so we didn't really have much money, and you know, we certainly didn't have more than one pair of shoes and one good outfit to go to church in. And I can remember during Lent, because we were a good Catholic family that went to church every Sunday, I can remember going to the convent that was beside my school, and the nuns always gave us a large box of fish. Now, the kindness that they showed to our family, not only on this occasion but on many other occasions, was huge, and I know that my parents were always very, very pleased for what they gave us. And that story has had quite a large impact on my life, because I think about how little we had then, how we shared everything that we had with our cousins and the families around us, and also I think about those group of nuns. They didn't have much, but they wanted us to eat fish on a Friday, and knew that if they didn't give it to us, then we wouldn't. But it was that outpouring of love and that outpouring of giving that really had an impact on my life, and so that now I try and make sure that whenever we have something extra, it goes to someone who needs it, and whether that means supporting you know, a charity, a local charity, or sending clothes to South Africa, or you know, the other things that I do in my life to help other people, then I will do that without judgment, and just giving with a loving heart in other situations.
Well, I can tell you again, this might be a little selfish, but you know, I have a bunch of chickens, right? And I was having a rough time at work with some things in management. I just felt like a cog in a wheel. But you know, you watch these chickens, and nobody assigned them who gets to be in charge. There's a pecking order, right? And it just being able to get back down to the real simplicity of life and what it's all about, you know, and just being able to see that some things are just kind of meant to be, type of thing. You know, again, they didn't go and have a little council to vote on who was going to be what. The true leader just kind of emerged. So, and that was really inspiring to me. Because I think there are some things in nature that are just natural. I guess that's nature. But the whole point being is there's a ton that we can learn just from the simplicity, which is not simple at all, in nature. So, you know, and some people might call it Darwinism and that sort of thing, but it's not really about that. They work as a team, right? If you ever watch the chickens, somebody always has their head up. They're always looking to see, you know, if there's a hawk or somebody coming to get them. So even though there's one person in charge, they still work as a team. And I don't have any roosters, so I guess I'm the cock of the walk around here. but they're just so loud. Anyway, that's a whole nother show. But the point being, Andy and guys, is that, you know, it's the simple things like that, just taking the time. I mean, even every day I'm getting so involved on the computer with being on Hangouts and there, I'm always here. I make it a point to take a break and go outside into my garden and just smell the tomato leaves, right? That sort of thing. It brings me back to what we're all here for, We need to connect. We need to connect with people, but we also need to connect with the earth and do the right things and take care of ourselves, because if we don't take care of ourselves first, then who are we actually pleasing, right? So it's a full circle. It's not a one-time thing. It's not a straight shot. It's an ever-evolving thing. I want to steal the show, but I'll keep rambling if you like.
Great story, absolutely fantastic. And again, I loved Kirstin's story as well. Very touching, very moving. How about Lainey and Tracy?
Gosh, I don't know of anything that's like sparked that. So I'm like not really sure what I can contribute to this part. I will say my grandparents had a farm, and I loved it, and those are some of my best memories as a kid, was going to my grandparents' farm. So I think that's been instilled in me since I was, wee little.
Cool.
Well, for me, I think as I was listening to the stories, I got about 9 months of sheer joy. My husband and I built our first house up in a place called Sunshine Valley, and across the highway was the Donna Thorne's Ranch. And every Sunday morning we would saddle up our horses, and Chris cut out some styrofoam and put it in his saddlebag, and we would 7 miles ride from our place to the Donna Thorne's and sit and have tea and buy our milk and our cheese, and then ride back home. And that was a Sunday occurrence for us, like I said, for about 9 months. And it was the most magical time of just going back to neighbor and community and family. And I think that's the story for me that comes up. It really inspires me to really that's where my impetus started for Know Your Food. I think everybody should have some sort of involvement in knowing their food and making good choices about it. Go meet your local farmer at your farmer's market if that's what's accessible to you. Go, if you're in a city, find a kid who wants to raise a cow or a pig if the program of FFA, Future Farmers of America, or 4-H or something. And just be inspired to think bigger, to think smaller. It's making those changes and making those choices. But those days riding the horse to go get milk was just magic. Magic.
That does sound like a lot of fun, actually. I would say don't worry about the sustainability. That's a great bit of fun you've got there, But no, that's fantastic. So it's coming towards the end of the show, and I think a final question would be possibly going back to one of the other questions, which would be how can people really get involved with this movement and start making a change for people around them, or even the people they don't even know yet?
Well, Hangout. I mean, drop in and hang out with us all, and take a little bit away, and then look at that, it's a chicken, the boxes, and then share what you've done from it. If you've had a little takeaway from, and I don't mean in a tin container or polystyrene pot. I mean, if you've gone away and actually put something to action that you've seen on one of the shows, come back to the community and share it and say, hey, this is what I did, and we'd love to see that.
Pardon me while I stroke my chicken, but I'd like to tell you that Jessica Menard has a really great post. I mean, just like what she's asking about wanting to do a canning show. All right, you want to talk to you about it? And I think that's awesome. I know Dawn Nix is big into canning, and we do a lot of that. So one of the points I'd like to make about canning and gardening is I realize, especially where I'm located, a lot of foods take a lot more time than I have to actually manage. And what I'll try and do is grow 1 or 2 or 3 different types of vegetables and do like a vegetable swap with a partner. So like my neighbor, that sort of thing. Like I'm going to grow the tomatoes. and what kind of tomatoes I'm gonna grow. What's the matter? Anyway, little chicken's not wanting to be here, so I'm gonna probably go put her back with her sisters. So, but she says hello. Okay? So, adios.
Adios. Lainey, you want me to go, or do you want your call to action to be first, baby?
Go for it. You can go first.
Okay. I think my call to action and get involved is just talk. Talk about it. Give us ideas. Join the leadership community. Give us ideas, and use the hashtag sustainable change on all your social medias. But why don't we start posting what we're doing? There's a lot of good comments about I'm going to the farmer's market. Get those pictures and put them on your social media. Pin them to your boards. Tweet about them. All of that using the hashtag, so people will start seeing that hashtag trend and maybe be inspired to say, what sustainable change can I make? So my call to action is join the leadership community so that you can get inspired with more ideas, and then just go out and, I know it's cliche, but here we go. Be the change you want to see in the world. Make those changes sustainable so that it grows and grows and grows and grows, and before you know it, the world can become sustainable. Just like Wayne wants us, a world for change. Let's all start changing.
Excellent. Lainey.
My turn? All right. You guys just, everybody had some really great points, and I think if you should just start learning. Don't be blinded by the world and the advertising, and don't get sucked into the fray, and take a moment and separate yourself from the craziness that's around us, the technology that we get sucked into, and start looking at your life and the accumulation of things and nonsense and crap and garbage, and what can you clean out? Can you clean out your refrigerator? Can you clean out your garage? Can you clean out, different elements of... Sorry, that was my dog. Make small changes and learn about the changes that you want to make in your life. What changes work for Tracy or Wayne or Kirstin or Andy or myself may not work for you. They may not be sustainable for you. So find what works for you and apply that and put that into action. And like Kirstin said, come tell us about it. We support every level of sustainable success and change that's out there.
Excellent. And with that, I just wanted to say thank you all for tuning in, and thank you all for being on the panel and sharing your passion, your tenacity, and your love for the community and for the world around us, because we all need to think about it for now and for the future. And those small things will make a big difference. So think about those small things you can do to get involved, and we will start making a massive change in the world. I just want to quickly just let you know about a new, the next show coming up next week. I am going to have Jason T. Weisers on the show next week, talking about his Hangout show and what it takes to create a great Hangout. So if you would like to tune into that show, it'll be 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time and 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And again, we look forward to having you join us and thinking about how you can use Hangouts within your business. Again, I want to say thank you all for watching again, and thank you all in the panel for tuning in. Thanks very much.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.